the legendary team. The fifth legendary team to be inducted into the Tasmanian Football Hall of Fame is the Clarence Team of 1993, winning the statewide premiership in the Tasmanian Football League statewide competition.
Once we'd won one, we just, the group of guys, there was a lot of us that stayed together for that time, and you just, once you've won one, you want to win another one and another one. I mean, you think, well, why can't we win it every year? But unfortunately that doesn't happen. But, I think that's just the attitude that we had, like we just want to keep doing it again and again.
The team heralded the beginning of a staggering period of success for the Clarence Roos, with 9 premierships from 11 grand final appearances between 1993 and 2006. The 1993 premiership was the first flag that Clarence had won since 1984. Between 1985 and 1992, the club had many chances to achieve success. However, over this 8-year period, they'd regularly succumbed to finals pressure. But this was about to change.
We realised two things. Firstly, we'd been bridesmaids for a number of years. We'd perennially been in the finals and gone out, and so we'd underperformed.
The masterstroke by the Clarence board of the day was the appointment of former Swan star Steve Wright. During his 250-game AFL career with the Swans, Wright was respected for his work ethic, determination and honesty. These same traits were immediately embraced by the Clarence Football Club.
And people had mixed views about the kind of playing coach we needed. But that changed the moment Steve Wright arrived, and immediately through his approach, the club started to transform straight away.
There's no doubt that the era of Clarence that we're talking about, 93 to 2006, there were a lot of people who certainly ensured the success of the club over that era, but I think it actually all emanates back to the appointment of Steve Wright. Steve, when he came to Clarence in 93, was taking over a team that had a reasonable amount of success, but never a premiership. Steve instilled into that team and actually into the club and everyone around the club a really hard work ethic, a team culture, and Steve actually took upon developing younger players to ensure the club's future. And I think, if you look back, which is pretty great to do on these functions, over a 12-year period, if you look at the first 3 years, I think that was the era within that total era that set the club up for its long-term success.
Wright and his 1993 side created the foundation for 13 years of success for the Clarence Football Club. An integral part of the Wright team was former Clarence player Grant Fagan, who took on the non-playing coaching position in 1996, enjoying immediate success, taking out the 1996 and 1997 statewide league premierships. The club finished runners-up in 1998, beaten only by the mighty Matthew Armstrong-coached Northern Bombers. Success eluded coach Dean Chiron in 1999, but with the return of Grant Fagan in 2000, the Roos won the last statewide league premiership. The Roos had earned a reputation as an arrogant bunch, but also a club that cherished the success that they'd fought hard to achieve and maintain.
So Grant Fagan took a bit of a risk, in my opinion, when he took over from Steve Wright. Grant would be the first to admit that he probably wasn't the greatest player himself, and he took over a group that had many great players. But what Grant was able to do very quickly was gain the respect of the players through his belief and trust in the playing group. He provided his assistants and his on-field leaders with great scope to do their job and take responsibility for their own performance. Grant's a terrific coach. He's had a fantastic record, and he should take great pride in his contribution to the great Clarence era that began in 1993, and he was certainly an integral part of that.
The demise of the statewide league at the end of the 2000 season resulted in the Roos winning the 2001 and 2002 Southern Football League premierships under playing coach, member of the 1993 team, Darren Winter.
Darren, in many ways, was the complete package. Darren's a fantastic footballer. Probably if he had a little bit more pace would have played VFL football, because he was extremely skillful and talented. He was also someone that people followed. He was a leader in his own right, and he was a great thinker of the game. So when Darren took over as coach, he was every president's dream.
Darren Winner, you know, he always made you stand a lot taller when Darren was around, and a great teammate as well.
The Roos won a further 2 SFL flags under coach Nick Davey, 2004 and 2006. Nick had also been a multiple Clarence Premiership player under all 3 previous coaches. During the period from 1993 to 2006, the Roos had won 9 premierships. Players Gavin Cooney and Scott McCallum being the only 2 players to play in all 9 flags. Many players played in 3 or more flags during this period.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're extremely lucky to have played in such good sides, and yeah, it's something I've never really sort of thought about. I mean, I suppose one day when I look back, it'll be something very special to look back on.
4 great coaches, Steve Wright, Grant Fagan, Darren Winter and Nick Davey, will go down in history as the on-field leaders that led the Clarence Roos to a string of premierships. However, the contribution of the off-field leaders, specifically club presidents Doug Davey and Richard Mulligan, should not be underestimated.
And in fact, the word love was quite often tossed around at this footy club, which to some people was a surprise, but they do. They love each other. And when you go through that sort of experience, I think it's the kind of love that you experience by achieving something that's particularly special. And it doesn't matter whether you win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 grand finals, it's still special.
The 1993 Clarence team, led by Steve Wright, will be remembered as one of the legendary teams of Tasmanian football, and they thoroughly deserve their induction into the 2009 Tasmanian Football Hall of Fame.